Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome to the MTG Foundation's Arena Direct events. For those who've never heard of it, the Arena Direct is a series of events where you can win physical booster boxes by playing Magic digitally through some sealed on Magic Arena. It's a very high-risk event because the prizes are so high, the entry fee is quite high as well. 5,000 gems is the only way to enter, and the only way to get those boxes is getting 6 wins in best of 1 sealed before only 2 losses. It's some of the coolest prizes available on Arena, but it's also some of the highest variance competitive Magic you can play, being a best of 1 sealed event and having such a high entry fee. So it's certainly not an event for everybody, but I did manage to nab a Modern Horizons booster box last time around, so I'll be doing my best to do the same today, hopefully leave the event this weekend with at least a couple boxes of Foundations. I'll send out one last prayer to the arena gods, but without further ado, let's bust open these packs and see what we get to play with today. Well, only 6 rares is quite low with play boosters. Luckily, they look pretty decent. Obviously, all of the Planeswalkers are pretty good. Kaito is no exception. Definitely one of the weaker ones, but still a Planeswalker nonetheless, which means a pretty powerful card. We've got 2 very good green rares with Loot and Sylvan Scavenging, and then Preposterous Proportions is not unplayable, it's just not that great, costing 7 whole mana to do it. But obviously, if we're already going to be playing green, that seems like it'll fit into the deck perfectly fine, as long as we have a decent creature count. We also have one of White's best rares. There's some really consistent life gain in the format, so it is not hard to make this just a Johnny's Pridemate with a jetpack that's drawing you cards left and right. Thing is very, very good. So some pretty solid rares here, even if we only opened 6. That part is definitely a bummer. So I like to start off my sealed pools by checking out our colorless and multicolored stuff. That's going to show us what mana fixing we have, as well as some of the uncommons being about as strong as a rare sometimes. These multicolored uncommons can be really juiced like Balmor here. Very unlikely that a sealed pool is going to be able to make a really good instant sorcery spell-slingy blue-red deck, but we've got the Balmor if we've got the cards for it. We've got Wardens of the Cycle for green-black, a really good value engine. Techova for green-blue, a really good value engine. So with us already wanting to play green, we can think of blue and black as some backup colors here to get one of those strong multicolored cards in there. And there's also Heroic Reinforcements. If we've got a really good aggressive curve out of Boros, that can be something you can do in Sealed as well. Just try to get underneath all of the splashier 3-color decks that are just trying to get all their bombs out. If you can just play a really good aggressive curve, sometimes you just kill them before they get their powerful spells. And they really get punished for being a slower deck. We also have 4 Gold Vein Pick. I don't think any deck wants to run 4 copies of this deck. Or of this card. I've ran 3 copies in a deck once, and that already felt like a lot. So 4 is a bit redundant, but the fact that we have like 2 for any deck that would want these is pretty cool. I'll probably run 2 in any deck with a really aggressive curve that might want to be ramping some stuff out or fixing some stuff as well. Because you want to have a lot of like 1 and 2 mana creatures to slap the pick on early to get value out of those treasures as quickly as possible. So cool stuff out of the colorless and multicolored. Not a lot of great fixing here. It's just some duels. And then the picks, if we have a good curve and want the fixing. The main thing to keep an eye on here, I think, are the green multicolored cards, considering how our rares looked. But we'll take a look at every single color, make sure I'm not really missing anything here, and see what looks best. So starting off immediately, white looks really good. Because we have 2 Healer's Hawk, and a Dazzling Angel, and a Cat Collector. These are all fantastic life gain synergy cards. And then, of course, the life gain synergy rare that's drawing a card and getting a counter every time we gain life. So this, with a Hawk on board, we just hit them with the Hawk, draw a card, get a counter. With the Angel, the second we play the Exemplar, we gain a life, get a counter, draw a card. With the Cat Collector, we could have a food token left behind to gain the life, trigger this, draw a card, but the Cat Collector also spits out a 1/1 every time we hit with Hawk, every time we play Angel. Seems really good. The removal's also great here. We have the very efficient Banishing Light, 3 mana to exile anything, and Luminous Rebuke, 2 mana to destroy any tapped creature. A little less flexible since it only targets tapped creatures, but if there's something you really need to kill that's untapped, it does have that 5 mana backup plan. That's decent as well. I am a huge fan of our white, actually. And I might be interested in going just like white-green here. If green still looks good alongside its rares. So for blue, Kaito is the best thing going on in this color by far. Spectral Sailor can be good, getting a flyer out early and a good mana sink to draw cards later. But we've got a really low instant count for Tolarian Terrace. That's probably just bad. Adept's never been impressive, or the Sprite. I don't love higher mana value 1 toughness cards, unless they have really good abilities, and these just don't. The Elementals and the Kraken I found to be kind of filler, as with Inspiration, Run Away Together, and Offer You Can't Refuse. It's just a bunch of filler out of blue, outside of like Kaito and Sailor. Then there's like good filler like Strix Lookout, and then bad filler like these cards. Yeah, blue's not that exciting to me. As for the black, great removal with Hero's Downfall. Arbiter of Woe is a very strong card to have at the top end, and Infernal Vessel is really good in any deck that can synergize with it. But we don't really have any sack cards for it outside of our 1 copy of Arbiter of Woe. So while Vessel is a strong card in the right deck, this doesn't really look like a super great Vessel deck. It's still going to be playable. We'll still run it, but not getting the most value out of it. But yeah, these are like the 2 cards. I guess these are the 3 cards I would say are like really exciting in black, and the rest is like average filler. Black looks perfectly fine, perfectly reasonable. Red has Burst Lightning, Heartfire Immolator for great removal spells, Dragon Trainer's an excellent finisher. And then the rest is either good or bad filler. I think Gorehorn's good filler, as is like the Whelp. And the rest, most of it will run, but not super exciting. It's a good quantity of cards and a few that are really, really nice. Immolator, Burst Lightning, and Dragon Trainer. I mean, red looks pretty decent. I still think white looked so good. It feels better than blue, black, or red with the amount of synergies we had here. And of course, in green, we have our best rares, having Loot and Sylvan Scavenging, and potentially Preposterous Proportions. Depends what our deck's going to look like, but we'll probably run it. The fact that we have 2 Llanowar Elves makes me a little more excited about that. Double Llanowar Elves towards the 3 drops is also pretty great. There's also a removal spell out of green. Don't expect to get a bunch of removal in green, so I'm happy to have the 1 copy at least. Yeah, I really want to see. I think green-white looks really legit here. Not a huge fan of main deck Reclamation Sage, or a Heir Apparent being the only copy of it, but with no other 2 drops, we might still have to run it just for our mana curve. I like running those other angels here with the amount of life gain we have. This is probably a lot of high mana value cards. Not a big fan of Stroke of Midnight. I don't really like any removal that gives your opponent a creature back. In limited, the 1/1 body could just matter by stacking up on a double block or something like that. It's just a way worse Banishing Light. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards to cut. We're running 46 right now. I guess this depends on if we want to run those Gold Vein picks. I could theoretically splash Tachyova, but the only mana fixing we're going to have is the Gold Vein picks, which is a little awkward. We're not going to have a single dual land, a single Terramorphic Expanse, a single like Rampant Growth style spell that fixes. I must feel like it's not worth the splash at that point. I mean, a black splash towards Wardens of the Cycle would actually just legitimately be easier. This isn't quite as consistent as Tachyova, but it's still pretty decent, and it's much easier to cast if we do want to splash in a sort of card draw engine. I actually don't mind that. The Scoured Barons getting into the deck is going to give us another way to trigger a life gain card as well, to trigger a Cat Collector or an Exemplar of Light. So like we also get that benefit of like maybe we just want the Scoured Barons already. And then I could play Bloodfell Caves just to have another life gain land, and this is what we're going to run as our basic swamp, basically, for the Wardens. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. 2 picks, Bloodfell Caves is the swamp, and Scoured Barrens towards the Wardens. Okay, I can cut 9 cards here. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could just drop this whole stack. It's a lot of 4 mana stuff. I could cut like a Prowler. Maybe I just don't do the Black Splash. Could get rid of the picks. And then just put a couple more 6-drops back in. That's another way to build this. I like the picks with Double Hawk. But outside of that, the amount of creatures we have to actually throw a pick on early is kind of low. It's like 2 Hawks, 1 Dazzling Angel for the best pick targets. Another look at everything else here. Definitely don't want to go green, blue, unless I just splash blue instead of black, which is an option. It's just worse mana. Worse mana, better splash. Card. Could run like a Rallier over this Prowler. This feels like a better card. Or 2 or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards it can hit out of 40. It's not a terrible mana sink. 3/4 body versus a 4/3 body is also decent. I would say this can get bigger, but I've really never seen it do much more than be basically a 4/3 or a 5/4. Could try, I don't know, Sylvan Scavenging is like really strong. Loot is also quite good. Preposterous Proportion's not really like rare worthy, but trying to see if maybe, like, I am not going to pass up on white with double Healer's Hawk, Dazzling Angel into the Exemplar of Light, which is just like the best rare in our sealed pool, I think, when you have the synergy to go with it, and we certainly do. We also have good removal with Banishing Light, Luminous Rebuke. I really don't think I'm removing white here. Thinking about maybe checking how like black-white looks, but again, green giving us that loot, the Sylvan Scavenging, we can ramp into them with that Llanowar Elves. Pretty crazy. Maybe some kind of Boros build here because we have Burst Lightning and Heartfire Immolator. And of course Dragon Trainer and then Heroic Reinforcements going that direction. Something else we can do. Okay, I think I'm just going to lock in. This is the green-white build, but I am going to go take a look at some other decks. Might Boros it up, honestly, if the curve is good enough. Okay, all of that for sure. Then what's the creature count here? 16. That's good for an aggro deck. We could Claws Out for the finisher. Do I have enough cats for Claws Out to ever be cheaper? I have 0 cats. The only cats I'll ever have are the ones off of Cat Collector. So trying to finish somebody off with Claws Out is going to cost 5 mana basically every time. Probably not good without really any cats. So we just play like a Sure Strike or a Thrill of Possibility or something. Don't think you play Involuntary Employment when you're not Rakdos and you can't sack. Maybe this is aggressive enough to do that. Okay, this is a white land, this is red land, this is another red land. With Cat Collector and Exemplar, I think we can play. Comes into play tapped basics just because they trigger the life gain spells. Land count 18 right now because I did that, so it would be cut one of these. And definitely don't want to play Bolt Wave. Maybe even Incinerating Blast here is fine and sealed. I am pretty low on removal. I guess I've got the Immolator too. The curve's pretty good here. The curve is really appealing. So we go for raw power with our green-white deck, or we just go for aggressive curve with Boros. Could steal some victories. But so can good rares like Sylvan Scavenging. What about Orzhov? Show me the non-creatures as well, Arena. Okay, this really might not get there. I need 3 more cards. I guess Soul Shackled Zombie kind of makes sense here. I don't think I'm playing 3 of them though. I guess for curve, get a little more top end this way. This also looks solid. By playing black, we're gaining a Hero's Downfall, an Arbiter of Woe. Those are the really big inclusions. The rest looks solid in here. I think I'm just going back to basics with sealed deck building. Play as many of your bombs as possible. I'm going to go for that green-white rare heavy build. We're just going to hop into the gameplay, and we're going to see how it does. All right, here we are on the play for game 1. Be close to a mulligan on the draw. I think we can keep it on the play, but not really. Starting till turn 3 is awkward. Scoured Barrens from our opponent to start things off. Llanowar Elves, turn 2. They can play a 4-drop next turn. That is not great for me. Mossborn Hydra into land for the landfall trigger. That's going to kill me real fast if we don't find some of our removal. We're going to need one of the white removal spells, ideally. Because I think by the time we draw into Bite Down, it's not going to be good enough. But this doubles up its counters every time they play a land, so in just a couple turns, that is going to be a game-ending threat. I could Beastkin Ranger instead of Seraph to try to hold these lands off to be able to play Indrik and just trade into Hydra directly. So I think I'll do that. This way, if I don't hit a land next turn, I can still just hit them, get a treasure, play an Indrik, and use the Indrik to trade into Hydra. It's not the best deal you can get out of Indrik. Obviously, you want to kill something and have the Indrik survive. But it is a 1-for-1 trade. I trade my 1 creature for their 1 creature. Oh, of all the things, main deck Reclamation Sage is going to stop that. I mean, if we top deck a land, it won't. But that'll be rough. Alright, get got by main deck Rec Sage. Feels bad, man. I think that's the best way we could have played it out there. So, we're doing what we can. But we can't control the gods of the shufflers. Maybe they'll miss a land drop as well. I mean, we didn't miss a land drop, we just hit a tap land at a pretty inopportune time. At least we had the Cat Collector on board, that helps. Okay, technically I think I should have played the Seraph first and got the Surveil. That was our 1 misplay so far. Sequencing. They would never do this attack without a combat trick or an instant speed removal spell, so I'm just not blocking there, yeah. Because if we double block, they just stab and kill our whole board. There's a Lathril. Alright, they did not hit the land to double Hydra again, but now I have to kill a Lathril as well. Whenever Lathril deals combat damage to a player, create that many elves. So 2 elves every time she hits us. If I Indrik the Hydra and pass, I can theoretically double block Lathril. and stop the menace. Because if I Indrik Lathril and then they play a land, I don't think I'm ever winning this game. Because then they have an 8/8 trample next turn. Unless I immediately top deck like Banishing Light, I don't think we can win if we don't fight the Hydra. So I have to just fight the Hydra and go on blocks here to stop the 1/1 production. Doesn't feel great. We know they're on all spells as well, because if they hit a land, they definitely would have went for landfall. Oof, the Reach Death Toucher to stop the Seraph. I currently hate my life. Since they didn't give us the Morbid trigger, it's actually just better to double spell here and have more creatures for Menace. But that's why we just send in the cat there. If we get Morbid, we draw a card. We need to draw into removal to get the Snare Spinner out of the way to get anywhere. Yep. Now Lathril makes 3 elves if she hits us. They're tapped out here? I'll slam dunk trade a Seraph into a Lathril. Okay. I think we take those. Food, not a treasure, but I do have 6 mana thanks to Llanowar Elves. So I can bite down plus Wardens. Okay, I think if I only set the cat in, or send the cat in, they're just gonna block the cat here, but if I send the Seraph, they'll probably take the trade here. I am 2 for 1ing myself, but then I'm getting my card back out of Wardens of the Cycle. I'm gonna kill it with the cat because it's funny. Okay. I need those Wardens to go the absolute mile here at this point. They're still 4 cards ahead. They have 4, at least 3 non-lands in hand, based on how they've played. But one of them's Grow from the Ashes, which is just more mana. Red? For the 4 color? Alright, well there's Cat Collector. I guess when they've got the Grow from the Ashes, bad draw is bad. They are down to 13. I think I just jam here. Snap trade. Well, not trade, but snap let it die so I can draw the card. Because I do not need Llanowar Elves mana anymore. I need action. Plains is not action. Oh god. Double Cat Collector? That's pretty good. And they each gave them a food, so they get 4 cats total. Wow. That seems about right. 15 now. I think I only send in the cat. Might not even be able to do that at this point, honestly. Yep, double cat has arrived again. Oh goody, the 3rd rare has dropped. 4/4 lifelink. My instant speed removal spells can't kill it. If they go back up to 21, it's a 9/9? No, it's a 5/5. 5/5 lifelink menace. If they go to 30. Then it's a 9/9. Ay, ay, ay. This triggers a cat collector here. The Alenda does. And we've basically already lost. Just going through the motions here. I could double block Alenda, barely survive without eating the food. Trying to leave the food so if I draw the Angel, I can eat it and draw another card. Try to cast Angel, eat the food, cast another card. Not that that's really going to stabilize against the double cat collector, but it is our best bet to save the food just in case. Unless we're literally dead on board. Alright, the empty board, Sylvan Scavenging. That is our first loss out of the way immediately. It felt like really nothing we could do there. Just kind of drew pretty rough. Opponent hit the triple rare on us. And we had to fight a lot to get through that. And just hit a little too many lands to come out ahead in the end. Very strong sealed pool from our opponent. Very bold deck build if they don't have multiple grows, just for the Abrade splash, I guess, off the red. But just like the, Hydra, Lathril, on color removal with Stab, it's already just a rough start. Double Cat Collector was wild too. The Dream Team, Mario and Luigi? Brothers in Time? We are 0-1 heading into game 2. They hit us with the Siegfried and Roy. Alright, this is a little more like it here. We need to draw lands, but we are on the draw to do so. Just turn 2 Sylvan Scavenging, unless they've got Stab in the opening hand, which it does not look like. They got 2 mana removal? Oh, Pilfer. Well, goodbye, Sylvan Scavenging. Cat Collector's still decent here. Pilfer is really bad for us, actually, because this hand was relying a lot on having those 2 castable spells of Cat Collector and Sylvan Scavenging, so just ripping one of those out of our hand means that we're not going to be doing anything for a while now with a 7-drop and a black spell in hand. Yep. Especially when the draws is Forest. Or our Forest. Feel that Cat Collector is strong enough here. I should not trade it into Hungry Ghoul, but Hungry Ghoul is a strong card too. This is probably not the worst trade in the world. Oh, Cat Collector only triggers during our turn. I should have ate the food. Wow, our opponent is rude as ever. Probably gonna ditch the black spell. Okay, well, it was the right choice. We've got Endrick next turn. And I misplayed last turn not just eating the food when I had nothing else to do with my mana, but we have nothing else to do with our mana this turn, so it didn't matter at all. I think this game plays out the same so far, no matter what we all do. And then I die to Aberration? No, I don't, because we top deck like a boss. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards. Oh, okay. I thought this was when anybody casts a spell. So we can actually just kill it with Endrick. Just double checking and making sure it's a high stakes event. Yeah, we don't put anything in our graveyard. So we get to kill the Aberration with Endrick. Cool. Yeah, I have not seen this card in a long time. This was a Guilds of Ravnica card originally. I guess it was Gate Crash. Guilds of Ravnica didn't have Dimir in it. I'm getting all the Ravnica sets mixed up. This was Return to Ravnica block, set number 2, which is Gate Crash. So Guilds of Ravnica was completely wrong. That's Return to Ravnica. And this all sounds like gibberish to anybody who started playing in like 2020 onwards. Ghoul plus Sage is bad. Sack Sage Sack the 1/1, Ghoul's a 4/4, sack the Ghoul, it's a 5/5, eat the Indrik, but then Indrik has essentially traded into Ghoul and Double Sage. I think I still send Indrik in here, get them to eat a bunch of stuff to the Ghoul, and then just banish the Ghoul later. Okay, or they could just do it slowly. Chump after chump after chump. Build the Ghoul up brick by brick. And that works too, because I might be able to keep the Indrik that way. Still holding on to this forest, because my opponent has shown off that they love discard spells. So if they have any Burglar Rats in their sealed pool, there is a 100% chance they're in their deck. Burglar Rat is a 2-mana 1/1 that makes each opponent discard a card. Ooh, pretty happy to have a Banishing Light here, and for them to have already used the Refute. Because if Kiora attacks, they make an 8/8. Period. They have to have 7 or more cards in grave, but they have more than that. So it is time to banish that Kiora. Goodbye. They get to eat her with the Hungry Ghoul, which stops my ground attacks. So we're going to have to hit something here, or we're just staring at each other. Because they can't really attack back at us either right now. Because I can double block the Ghoul. Light Shell Duo. That's a pretty good draw. Lets you set up your draws in the top deck war. Get rid of any extra lands, like so. Ooh, baby. The Rune-Sealed Wall for card selection as well. It's really good in the top deck war. Gotta find some of our life gain here. But the Exemplar is theoretically a pretty good draw. We've got the Dazzling Angel, the double Healer's Hawk being the really good ones that we're looking for. There's a Vengeful Blood Witch from our opponent off the top. Hello, Healer's Hawk. They don't have anything on board with reach or any way to buff their 1/1 flyer. So hope that they chump so that Healer's Hawk can actually get more than one swing in later. Unless they have Stab in their hand, that would be just literally perfect for our opponent. Oh my god. Oh. They had one card in hand. They didn't even surveil last turn. I feel like that was a fine play. The odds of that exact card being Stab were pretty low. Because if they had Stab any earlier in the game, they would have killed Cat Collector or swung through the Ghouls. That means that was literally their top deck last turn. That's rough. That is extremely rough. And there's the Mirror's Mythic Uncommon. Well, if it's any consolation, they could have just stabbed the Hawk this turn and stopped us from even triggering our Angel. And then they just have a Death Toucher out by now, and the Angel doesn't matter. So even if I literally knew they had Stab in hand, we still wouldn't be getting Angel triggers. We'd be in a rough spot. They'd have the Scavenger out before they could do anything. With our second Healer's Hawk. In which case we'd be chump attacking to draw one card. Okay, that is pretty real. Well, digging through that clump is good, because those would have been really bad draws. Still 14 cards left, so we're definitely not praying for them to mill out or anything. I think we're just trying to find preposterous proportions. We're gonna have to hit our third rare if we want to win this. Just had too much removal for us. Well, we fought through 2 of their rares themselves. We have been evenly casting rares throughout this game. My forest, no. Who would have guessed they have this? Not me. Okay. I guess if I'm activating Squad Rallier, if Preposterous Proportions is in my top 4, I'm putting it on the bottom. But like, how many creatures do I have in my deck left that it can hit? It can hit Landwerelfs, Heir Apparent, Dazzling Angel, Loot? It can hit Loot. The fact that it can hit Loot and I can activate it 2 times per turn means I think I should just do it. Show me Loot. Okay, it's not Loot, but it's not Preposterous Proportions either. And it is another flyer. I'm not going to play the Barons, because I can trigger Cat Collector off of it. But I guess, I don't know, maybe I just should. Because now that I have a Dazzling Angel out, I can kind of trigger Cat Collector really easily. The 2 Healer's Hawks obviously do it pretty easily as well. Okay. Alright, if they hold back the Scavenger, then yeah. Having held the Barons feels good, because now I can do that without sending in a chump attack here. Okay, we're looking for Loot. Sorry, Preposterous Proportions. That's neither of them. Okay, so hold up. Our bottom 12 cards, because I've done this 4 times, that would mean our bottom 9 cards, not our bottom 12. Well, no, because I hit once. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards got put on the bottom. So Loot and Preposterous Portions are in our top 6. So because we know Proportions is in our top 6, should I not do this? Or should I, yes, do this because we know Loot is there? I mean, if I hit Loot off of this, I won't even cast Loot this turn anyway. I think I'm going to hold off. 1 in 3 chance of drawing either of those rares, but if I activate this, there's a pretty high chance I'm putting Proportions on the bottom, even though there is a high chance of putting Loot in hand. I wouldn't have the mana to cast Loot this turn anyway. Our top 5 now, that's like a 90% chance of shoving Proportions on the bottom by activating this. And what does Loot even do? It lets me get permanents, right? Reveal a creature card. Okay, so if I hit Loot, all I can do is dig for like my 3/3 flyers, my biggest creature left in my deck. So Loot is actually just significantly weaker than Preposterous Proportions. So should definitely just hold off. Now that we know, because we've shoved so many non-Proportions cards to the bottom, that we're going to hit it within the next 5 turns. Unless I activate. If I activate, we're just not going to hit it, period. It's going to be all the way on the bottom. I mean, I guess there is the weird scenario where, like, I could activate it here to hit Loot, and then if I reactivate it again, like another 3 times, then I get back to Preposterous being back in the top 4 or something. It's a very strange mind game here with the Rallier. And we have just the roadblock of all roadblocks, the board stall of all board stalls. They've got 8 cards left in their deck. Getting low enough that they might need to just keep lands on top. Oh, nope. One of the best rares in the whole format. High Society Hunter is insane. Do they have to draw the card? Whenever a non-token creature dies, draw a card, period. I could just mill them out. They literally can't choose not to draw the card. Maybe just mill them out. Okay, they definitely have Refute, which they have to draw a card, discard a card. Okay, so now they don't have Refute and they mill one. They milled a Bouncer. Six cards in their deck. I think also like Preposterous Proportions is in like my top 2 now and it just kills them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think I'm going to get fancy and try to mill them. I think I'm just going to draw Proportions here. Because unless they have a third Refute and it's on top of their deck, Proportions wins the game. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attackers over there. 9 blockers. Wait. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, they're insanely dead. I would rather not give them a chance to draw another Refute. We're just going to draw Proportions. Okay, I did the math wrong. It's 1 card deeper. Or I'm blind and we actually did hit it earlier. That would be tragic. It was on the bottom this whole time. I know for sure we've tucked at least like 8 cards underneath it here. I think this means it's like as low as possible. I mean, even if we don't hit it, we probably have enough chumps to just force them to mill out here. This is really strange. I must have missed it. It must have gotten tucked away earlier at some point. Oh, it's in my grave! I'm so stupid! Oh my god. How did I forget? Alright, well, time to mill them out. Now that we know that's our only game plan, we work our way towards that. I'm going to attack them with beefy enough creatures that they feel obligated to block and get some stuff dying. Well, the only creature left in my deck that the Rallier can hit is the rabbit anyway. But that's so funny. This whole game I was playing for nothing. Even if they chump block, they have to draw a card. If they don't, they go to 2 off of this. And if they trade, they draw 2 cards. I think this Hunter's actually going to just be in our favor. Surprisingly. The whole time. I'm like, well, we haven't seen our Proportions with the Rallier the whole time. And we've done this a bunch, so it's in the top 4 at this point. No, not if we discarded it earlier to the discard 2. To the Mind Rot Seeker's Folly. Alright, no creatures die, take 4 is going to be the play probably. Try to conserve as much of their deck as possible. They could sacrifice High Society Hunter to Hungry Ghoul. Which is pretty interesting. With Blood Witch on board, they do have a considerable amount of damage off of sacks if they get anything through, so we're just blocking literally everything from now on. I would rather not kill the Hunter because it mills them out fast. They have 2 cards left in their deck. I don't think this really matters. I'm probably just passing, honestly. I don't think there's like a clear the mind style shuffle your graveyard back into your deck card in this format. If there is, we lose. Sure. The burglar rat. My forest away. One card left in their deck. Grappling Kraken's big. Tap stun, a flyer. They know they can hit me for 8 here. That's actually super bad for me. But it's not going to be lethal. Okay, they're just going to hit me for 5 anyway. Then it's really not lethal. Burglar at the land, draw their last card and then die. Well, no, Blood Witch, this could be getting dangerously close to lethal. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures on board. With Hungry Ghoul, they can drain me for 10, and I don't untap Angel next turn. Now, this is really bad. I guess we dig for Heir Apparent. I don't think it really matters, but it will gain me 1 life to play it. We can guaranteed draw it here. Yeah. Okay, no Luminous Rebuke's in the bottom 4 now. I'll dig closer to that. Even though I know I can't hit anything, just getting closer to Rebuke is good. Okay, another Gold Vein pick. So let's gain 2 and slap. I guess it depends what the last card in their deck is here. If it's a land, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then that's really bad. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Their last card in deck should not be a land. So it shouldn't be able to stun the Healer's Hawk. So I'm going to throw the Gold Vein pick onto Healer's Hawk and just pass here. Because they could do a lot, but not enough. Because I'm going to gain 3. I'll be at 16. Oh boy. I guess if I can get... No, I was going to say if I can get 1 creature to die here, then they lose. But that's not true because they can just sack the Hunter here. But if they sack the Hunter, I'm less likely to die on the crackback. So yeah, Gold Vein pick onto Beastkin Ranger is 7. That's not lethal though. So if it's not lethal, they can just not block it and nobody dies and they don't draw a card. I guess they can't attack with Dreadwing Scavenger? So I can just... If their last card isn't removal, Healer's Hawk can block High Society Hunter. So I take 0 damage off the attacks. I just take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 off of Blood Witch, which is definitely not lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only need 7 blockers on the ground. The cats alone are enough there. Because the cats alone can block enough on the ground, I suppose we just like send in the non-cats here to force some creatures to die, to force them to sack High Society Hunters so they're less likely to kill me in the sky. Yeah, if I do something like this, they have to sacrifice High Society Hunter. And then they'll have no flying creatures that can attack me next turn without them dying, because Scavenger has to draw them a card when it attacks. And they'll have no cards left in deck. This should force something to die. Oh no, I think I should have sent Cat Collector or a 1/1 as well here. Yeah, because they could go to 1 and nothing dies. Actually. Yeah. God dang it. I needed to go all in here on the ground. I thought that was enough. I didn't realize the duo and the Rallier can bounce. Okay, so they have Hunter and all of the Blood Witch triggers to try to kill me. If they can kill Healer's Hawk with the top card of their deck, they could win. If their last card in deck is removal. Then kill that, hit me for 5, drain me for 11 with Blood Witch. And the reason... Oh no, they can't drain me for 11 with Blood Witch. I was going to say the reason they could drain me for 11 is because Hunter can give them a free sack, but if Hunter gives them a free sack, then they draw a card and die. Okay. Let's see what happens here. If they declare an attack with Dreadwing Scavenger, they lose, and nothing else can hit us. They don't have enough mana to drain us for 15, even if they had the creatures. This was just a wild game. Played this out really wrong at multiple points. The preposterous proportions just being in the grave the whole time is like the funniest part. For sure. But yeah, we live this. Because they only drain us when creatures they control die. But yeah, last turn I also played it out wrong. I should have also attacked with Cat Collector and double Llanowar Elves. That way something dies. Actually, just attacking with the 8-power Trampler and a single Llanowar Elves I think would have done it. Because they just had... No, I would have had to attack with 2 Llanowar Elves, but they only had 1 creature with 0 power, so if I attacked with 2 1/1s, one of these 1/1s would die. Because the alternative was for them to take 9. Or sack something to the Blood Witch, in which case the only thing they could sack to Blood Witch without milling out would have been High Society Hunter. So the right play would have been load the Ranger up to 8 power, send in Ranger and 2 Llanowar Elves. That was the attack we should have made last turn. Just hit with the smallest non-token creatures because they're the most likely to die to the Hunter and force them to sack the Hunter specifically to the Blood Witch. Alright. Weird game. There was way too much going on. To the point where I completely forgot of our turn 2 discard and everything. But whatever. 1-1. We will take it. We've gotten at least 1 victory here as we head into game 3. Remember when I said I didn't think that game was going to come down to milling? Sweet summer child. There's some beautiful lands. I guess these aren't lands, these are just sleeves. I wonder what the artwork is for, though. Looks like it could be a cool land. It's an island turtle. Yes. Hello, Exemplar. I need to top deck a land. Or 2 if they can kill my Llanowar Elves. Hello, Spectral Sailor. Maybe I should have just went Om Nom Nom while they were tapped out. Wait till they play something else here. Alright, well, let's see. Do I get punished for not Om Nom Nomming the tap out? Nope. That's lucky. And that is also lucky. There is Essence Scatter in this format, and I have no life gain on board, so I don't mind starting with the 3/3 flyer with no abilities here. Because this one also has no abilities right now. We have no life gain. Banishing Light. See, this is why we start with the fodder. Alright. Say hello to Exemplar. Because I can't cast anything else right now. I mean, I could cast Rebuke, but there's no way I'm using that on a 2-1. Mocking Sprite. I prefer Seer Mist myself. 1 blue mana. As far as I remember, there's not a shore up in this format, and if there is, I can just hard cast a 5 mana Rebuke in response. Cool. World's saddest exemplar of light has arrived. I got 2 life gain lands. If I get a black source, I can get wardens down, and I have 3 good life gain cards, 4 good life gain cards in white. 2 Healer's Hawk, 1 Angel, 1 Cat Collector. So I have like 7 draws I could hit to trigger Exemplar and get a counter and draw a card. And I've got the bigger flyer here, so I don't think I need to spend this Rebuke just trying to like outrace that when I already do. I'm not worried about discard from this color trio. So I will play the mana. No! Okay, I do get outraced by that card. That card is really good. That also makes Ranger just trade into Adept if I swing. Alright. Not lovely. Four damage a turn. I'll be at 10 life after this. Kinda gotta cash in. This makes it take 7 turns to die instead of 3. Which is a pretty massive difference. Are they responding with their own Rebuke? Or something? I just accept that for now. And pass. Hello, friend. Incredible draw is incredible. Probably should have tapped Llanowar, so if I top deck Healer's Hawk, I'd have a white mana up. I have 2 1 white mana cards in the deck, 2 Healer's Hawks, and only 1 Llanowar Elves left in the deck. Okay, that's not horrible for me, but it's decent for our opponent. Can still slam out the Adept here. I don't hate trading Llanowar Elves for the Adepts, but it's probably not for the best to do that. Savannah Lions. Bunch of 1 toughness stuff. Ooh, Sylvan Scavenging. Kind of want to still just Exemplar first. I think it's easier to double spell Sylvan Scavenging with something else. Cool. And does this draw me a card anytime a counter's put on it? Yes. So also if I Sylvan Scavenging a counter onto it, I draw a card. Only once per turn though, so if I draw into Bloodfell Caves, I don't. I want to Sylvan Scavenging a counter as well. I'll just get the Raccoon if it's still alive. Cool. Oh, I got the mana for this? Yeah, why not? It's funny. Yeah. Alright. Well, I don't think that really had much to do with preposterous proportions, but might as well because it's goofy. But yeah, that Exemplar of Light, the Cat Collector, these life gain cards are just so strong that like top deck Bloodfell Caves was incredible for us. We are 2-1 heading into game number 4. It's quite the nice curve in this hand. Jeez. Turn 2 Beastkin Ranger. Get some triggers on that. Trample in for a bunch real quick. Ooh, a Cat Collector? That is another cool card, but I'd rather get the Ranger out first because it's more of an aggressive card that's just going to start beating in. Cat Collector is just really good over time. Hello, Giada. You're spooky. Okay, this is slightly awkward because I'm technically not getting the +1/+0 trigger on Ranger this way. But this lets me play a pick, have a pick equipped, and slam down a Cathar Commando. I get 5 mana worth of things done this way. Man, Giada's got Vigilance too. Very nice. Pass turn, well, here's Cathar Commando. Again, missing out on a Beastkin Ranger trigger, but being mana efficient here so I can still play Cat Collector and a Gold Vein pick next turn, maybe? If they have the 5 damage to a creature and exile at equipment, wow. Literally perfect. Congratulations on that one. That's a good one to have. That's a rough 2-for-1. All right. My cards are on the table. What do you have, opponent? Prideful Parent. That's pretty good. Monorail's already doesn't really matter. Kind of flooded at this point. So just send it. Cool. Let's get our cat, because I have to do that during our turn. Say goodbye to the squad rallier. Hom nom 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 nom. I probably should have put a pick on the cat token and send with it. Inspiring Paladin. Do I get to kill a 3/3 and a 2/2? That's frustrating. It's pretty good. It's not permanent flying, though. Hello, Banishing Light. If they don't have a follow-up play, I'm actually pretty happy with this swing, because the counterattack for 4 with Cat Collector is pretty hard. I have enough treasure tokens, I think I should just bluff a little here. Highly unlikely to impact their play, but basically impossible to matter with the amount of mana we have access to. So where if, like, if I hit something really expensive, I just play that. I'm not going to hold more than 1 land in my hand. I really don't hate that. I feel like I give up the Cat Collector here. Right, because it's like the only way they kill it is losing their whole board that's left. It feels worth it for sure. They do get to send 2 3/3s on the counterattack. But they need, like, another Prideful Parent after that on blocks. I think we probably try to kill the Veteran, though. Okay, good. Land, another Paladin, and a Pridemate. Uh-oh. Well, Squad Rallier's pretty good. If I pick, I'm just trading into Paladin. That is not worth it. Especially when Rallier can hit some Healer's Hawks. So let's just Rallier. That's already big enough to stop all their attacks. Unless they top deck a Combat Trick or a Gold Vein pick or something. If it's just another creature, that's fine. They just slam it down. That's not horrible, because that buffs their Pridemate. But it's not enough to break through the 3/4. Okay. Wow. Alright, well that was a sad one. But it's definitely worth doing this. With the Cat Collector on board, and yeah, all the Healer's Hawks in the deck. Okay, loot's gotta be better though. Can't activate loot immediately, but then I get the best creature out of the top 6 every turn in the future. It's like certainly worth it. Let's have a 5 toughness blocker. Actually, that might have been wrong, because I'm just gonna move this off of loot as soon as I tap loot anyway. Ooh. Beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card. Whenever I draw a card, I lose a life. Okay, that's kind of painful. But also, I get to draw more cards. Okay, I can do this at instant speed. And I've got the treasure tokens. They can double block a 4/5 with 2 3/3s. They have no good attacks. Six, 7, 8, 9. I could activate Rallier and Loot, but it feels better to get more on the board, because I'm going to need to outrace this Crawler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could move the pick off of loot. Again, because I'm just going to tap loot. Yeah, I shouldn't have just put it on loot last turn, but here we are. Oh, Scoured Barrens is a big draw. It's actually kind of the perfect draw, because if we're going to be just dumping all of our mana into loot anyway, then just hitting land drops that affect the game in some way is a big deal. Because that's kind of all that I can do. I don't have anything... I'm not going to have enough mana to use loot and cast more spells. Oh boy. That's a really good start to the top deck war. Maybe I just die? I might just die. I have to tap the Llanowar Elves to use loot here. So I think we're looting post blocks. We're letting loot die. Okay, maybe they're just not attacking. Maybe I'm fine. Math is for attackers right now. Okay, first strike's pretty rough. Let them first strike away the Hare and the Llanowar Elves. Yeah, sure. Still have the 6 for loot. There's the Healer's Hawk. Let's go. Huge hit. Oh my god, Exemplar of Light? Yeah, this has to be better than loot. At this point, this is wild. I think I just hold Rallier mana up here. Oh, loot lets me play an additional land. I should have at least... Oh wait, no, because I was holding a tap land in case I couldn't attack with Hawk to trigger Exemplar. They got Morbid here? Must be Morbid. Out of Boros? Oh, Raid. Yeah, I'm dumb. What do they get to play? Burst Lightning or Firebrand? Uh-oh. Until the end of your next turn, so they can kick a Burst Lightning to my face? That's pretty sketchy. Oh, but they're dead in the sky. I'm so nervous I don't even look at the onboard lethal that they can't deal with. They know that they could Burst Lightning Healer's Hawk, but then I can throw the Golden Pick on the Exemplar. Yeah, no Flyers. All right. Flyers continue to be good. We are 3-1 heading into game number 5. Really strange run so far. It's been some incredibly sloppy wins. And I think our loss was actually the game that we played the best. I think every win we've had like a bunch of misplays and just not seeing different lines and stuff. But the loss, I think, for the most part, just was what it was going to be. Definitely can't keep this. It needs a White Source badly. Even if it hits it, it doesn't start till turn 3, and there's just really high mana value cards for an opener. It's also borderline unkeepable, but Healer's Hawk Exemplar goes a really long way. Ditch Llanowar Elves, it is considerably worse if you have to wait for your green source to cast it anyway. So, if I don't hit my green source till turn 3, that's super fine for a Beastkin Ranger, but not really for Llanowar Elves. Okay. I think we curve here. Blue-white from our opponent. There's the youthful Valkyrie. That is a very good response to a healer's hawk. Tragic. I cry every time. Could have tried to bluff a trick there. But 9 times out of 10 it's just going to be a bounce. We just bounce off each other. Now it'll definitely be a bounce off each other. Unless I commando that wall, which I will not do with an Exemplar. I will sacrifice the Healer's Hawk to draw a card. Cool. Even if they kill Exemplar next turn, I think this is a fine deal. To sack Healer's Hawk, draw a card when they have a 1/3 flyer on their board anyway. This is most likely the best we're going to get out of our Healer's Hawk. Felidar Savior. Oof, juice up the Valkyrie now. Yeah. Okay, there's the green source. Just gonna start jamming with Exemplar. Definitely gonna have to commando away the rune-sealed wall so that I have some action on the ground here. So I'll just do it before they untap, so they only get 1 surveil instead of 2. This gets Beastkin Ranger potentially in the game. Green, blue, white from our opponent. Now they have all of their colors. Spinner of Souls. Removal spell or bust. Because now every chump block they make just draws them another creature anyway. That also just trades immediately into Exemplar. And then we have no action anymore. And they just Gold Vein pick us to deck on their youthful Valkyrie. Yeah, no, we have to hit something. We can't do anything right now. If I attack in, we trade here, and then they just win because they're going to hit me for 3, get a treasure, and then have a 3/4 lifelink blocker, so I have no counterattacks. Yeah, no, this is a board stall in our opponent's favor right now. This card is brutal. That doesn't really do it, because they have the pick on their Valkyrie. I can throw this on Exemplar, and then we still just trade Exemplar into the Spinner of Souls. Yeah, nope, we're still seeing who draws better. For now. It's kind of literally like just who top decks a removal spell first. We have Banishing Light, Luminous Rebuke, Bite Down. And they have whatever else they have in Bant. That's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing. Show me a refute. I didn't mean it. I lied. Don't show me a refute. Feybloom Trick. Wow, okay, that's also really good here. Yeah. So they could like chump with a fairy and a savior and also draw a card from chumping with savior. They don't draw cards for any of the token chump blocks, but they do for any of their non-tokens blocking here. Go to 2, they say. This is not a game for cowards, it looks like. And the top deck is something. They're looking at it. Alright. They were the first to draw removal. And so, even with them at 2 life, we're in the losing position. By a good margin. Yeah, because the Felidar Savior here too, so they just go to 5 and draw a card off of this, because there's no way I can let them keep the lifelink here when they're this low. So they get to trade 1-for-1 into our Beastkin Ranger and draw a card, so they 2-for-1 us off Spinner of Souls. Find Inspiring Paladin. Oh, fashionably late Cat Collector. This would have been insane if these were in the other order and it was Cat Collector before Preposterous. We're just super winning. But we remain super losing. They already have infinite mana. I don't really care about the treasures. God, can't believe that Feybloom trick. Just MVP. Feybloom trick into removal the next turn. All of our removal just hiding in the bottom half, running away from Spinner of Souls. To allow Spinner of Souls to run away with the game. Oh. It's a little too late to really matter here, but we'll see. Kind of guarantees we draw a creature every turn at least. But so does Strix, look out. Just gonna start spinning the loot wheel every turn, as long as we can. Oh, good. An insane mana sink in a top deck war. Loot's also an insane mana sink. I think Snare Spinner is actually maybe a little better here, because the +1/+1 counters with double Inspiring Paladin to just give their whole board first strike. It's kind of unreasonable. That's going to be really good for us if we hit our 3/3 flyer. We've hit neither of them, and we have 2 in our deck. And we're digging 6 cards deep. The odds are kind of decent here. Now we get to slap out a 3/3 flyer and just kill one of theirs for free. That is the correct place to put the pick. That way, if I do get a 3/3 flyer, I'm just eating the non-token creature and triggering their Spinner of Souls. I do like Wardens, but I don't think it is good enough to matter a ton here. Versus just killing a creature for free. This also leaves behind a flyer, where they only have 2 blockers for flyers right now, and they're at 5. I think I have a draw or 2 that might get close to lethal. I don't know if I can get to lethal. But if I clear out like a Spinner of Souls here, they only have 3 blockers up. Okay, Gold Vein Pick doesn't really do anything. Four blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take like 3 damage. No, I can't kill them here. I have 8 mana. I can play this pick and not equip it. And still use loot. If I like load up my Seraph, I just trade it into Snare Spinner and they draw a card as well. Halfway through our deck, 0 removal spells drawn this game is rough. I wasn't even counting Indrik. We actually have like 5 removal spells if you count Indrik. Ah, man. No creatures that I could have off of loot that would make me want to block there. Our biggest flyer we get hits another 3/3, in which case I guess we could triple block. They first strike away 1 and then kill that with the other 2. Okay, no, actually. Maybe would have been fine. Oh, hello. God, I think you're a turn too late, you bum. Oh, shoot. Wait a second. That's 5 mana, though, and then I don't get to loot right now. It's 3 mana up. So I can have both picks on the Healer's Hawk. Gain 3. Get a cat, move them back around. There's 3 flyers coming at me, but I'm at 6. I'll have a 5/5 Seraph. I guess a 3/3 Hawk doesn't even get through because they have Valkyrie and Strix Lookout. I can't make anybody more than 5 power, so if I make something big on the ground, it's just going to trade into 1 Paladin. Can make a 5/5 Seraph, they have to block, but then I gain nothing. But so if they don't top deck removal, I can win from there, but if they do, they just kill a Healer's Hawk and I die. Well, no, hold on. They would just win because they have first strike to stop my life gain. I can't attack because then they just... I block one of these and they both have first strike. This will be a 3 power first strike. That's a 4 power first striker. Either way, I block with the lifelink or I die because I don't gain any life. So I have to just be equipping picks and just have my flyers all get bodied by first strike? This is not a winning plan at all. This blows. Trade Hawk into Lookout, gain 3. Load up the Seraph, let the 5/5 through, but block the Youthful Valkyrie with the Vanguard Seraph. This way I get a Cat Collector trigger and a Vanguard Seraph Surveil trigger. Maybe that accomplishes something. Thanks, Auto Damager. It has auto-assign lethal check, and then it wants to deal non-lethal to Youthful Valkyrie. Genius. Ready and willing to go to 1 here to try to bite down lethal on the crackback. Show me the money. Lord have mercy. I don't think we had any business winning that. Because I'm almost 100% sure there were some better lines there that would have been even more in our favor. Oh my god. These games are, there's too much. The boards are too big. Oh man. But get another victory, and we have officially gotten some of our gems back no matter what. Pretty happy with that. So, yeah, wow. Start off with a loss, get 4 wins in a row. We're getting at least some gems back now. We'll take that. We are certainly grabbing the loot today at 4-1. I don't think... See, the thing is, like, we're getting some prize out no matter what. We're getting some of our gems back, but my whole goal going in was to just play as best as I can. We're not accomplishing that. It's been a really sloppy day. But again, like, we've won every game that I've misplayed, and I think lost the one where I didn't. So maybe we'll play a little sloppier as we head into the next game. Ooh, boy. They need some good removal in their opener for this one. Let's hope they don't have that. We're on the draw here. If we immediately draw an untapped land, then I'm holding off on the Scoured Barrens for after these are on board. I think I'm still going to hold off. Because I don't care about skipping Heir Apparent to play a tap land. To have one more chance of getting the untapped land. I do care a little bit about skipping Cat Collector. Oof. Sylvan Scavenging? Need another green for that. But now if I skip Heir Apparent, I have no blocks on Hungry Ghoul. This is greedy. But the only life gain I have is 1 food token from Cat Collector, so preserving another life gain trigger feels really big with these 2 cards. Plus, of course, we have the blocker down for the Ghoul to force them to sack something here. Or not attack. Hello. There's the Dazzling Angel to trigger the life gainers. I think we play that here. Gormond is a super sweet card with expendable sack fodder. They get to draw a card and hit us unblockably every turn. So if they play something like a Burglar Rat, that's really rough. Okay, Banishing Light on the Angel's fine. We've got a way better Angel in hand. No care for the Vampire Gormond. The disrespect. I love that card. Okay, we don't get to play our 4-drop this turn, but we can play a must-be-killed threat. Well, no, it's probably better to still Cat Collector and get our trigger. Wait on the loot till we have 6 mana. This is such a hand. The triple rare. The amount of removal our opponent is going to need is like expanding every time I draw a card. But they are black-white. Black has tons of removal, and white has some good removal too. Ooh, there's the double green. I'm tempted to wait till 6 mana for Exemplar to guarantee a card draw then. Since I can just play Sylvan Scavenging this turn, which is still pretty good. Or Sylvan Scavenging. I can also Banishing Light. Their Banishing Light. And get an Angel. That doesn't feel bad either. Then I'll have an Angel on board when I play Exemplar next turn. And I'll have the mana up for the food token here. But then I won't have a Banishing Light in case they play their own bomb. There's tons of options here. And let's just go Scavenging. It should be hard for Orzhov to deal with the Sylvan Scavenging, even if I only get a counter out of it for now. Having the Banishing Light in case they hit like the 5/3 flyer that draws a card every time something dies feels pretty good. This does mean I think I hold on to the food in case we hit a land with Exemplar here. Okay, Cathar Commando's good against Scavenging. Just turn it into a 1-for-1. But that's honestly not the worst case scenario for us. Now they don't have that for our Banishing Light. Squad Rallier hits the board, great mana sink. Not a 6th mana, but it is a really good card. Go for some Morbid. If they gave us Morbid, we could draw a card, lose a life there, or just gain 2 and get the cat back, which would be hilarious. Again, obviously we're a little behind on board right now, but our hand is really, really strong, so I'm still feeling good. Unless they have, like, the discard 2 card. Okay, if they do kill the Exemplar immediately, I still have loot after this. I still have to sack during my turn to get the cat. So I have to do this and let them use their removal spell in response. So I can get the cat. Yeah. They played it out right, but I couldn't play around that, so it's fine. And this triggers my Warden this way. Which is why we don't do it in our literal end step, just do it main phase 2. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't thinking of that. I probably shouldn't cover my mouth away from the mic for comedic effect. Hello, bite down. Two cards in their hand. They have not played a land in a while. They haven't been using the squad rallier. I feel like I'm supposed to just play loot. I'm 2 land draws away from playing and activating loot in the same turn. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, we just got to play loot and hope for the best. Hope that our friend sticks around. I don't think I can play around Burglar Rat right now because I have a 6 mana ability to activate, so I will need a lot of mana up. If their deck is the all removal spells deck, that's a really good deck to have for the way our hand was shaped. Yep. Rough. All right. That is an answer for every single bomb we played. But I still have the Wardens potentially putting in work. Bite Down is terrible against instant speed removal spells. So I want to play this really cautiously. Oh man, I really wanted to be able to Banishing Light Rallier, but now I definitely have to banish the Hungry Ghoul against a Reassembling Skeleton. They can double block Wardens with Squad Rallier and Reassembling Skeleton. I can't Bite Down in response to that. We can send the cats in here. That's pretty advantageous. I have so much food, though. They have 6 life worth of food. Yeesh. Do I have to just Bite Down a Healer's Hawk to draw a card? I don't think so. Now it is past our opportunity for Morbid Triggers, and now I'm really glad I didn't Bite Down a Healer's Hawk. It gets bigger for every creature they play until it becomes flying as well. So it'll be a 4/4 flyer, and then it'll be a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger flyer. We want to Bite Down during our turn so that we draw the card. There's 2 ways we can do this. I can Bite Down Cat Collector onto the Sky Knight Squire, so that if they have some way to flash in a Cathar Commando or some kind of instant speed creature, we'll kill it even if it gets a counter. Or I can Bite Down a cat onto it. This way, if they have a stab, if they have some kind of removal spell in response, we still kill the thing. Or not that we still kill the thing, but we force them to use removal on one of our weaker creatures. I feel if they had removal, they probably would have used it on Wardens by now. They could be playing it real practical with the removal, but I think the amount of removal we've already seen, I can probably hope for the best. They've already spent 3. I'm going to do it on Wardens, because Wardens is out of reach of stab. It would have to be premium removal here. Okay, Mischievous Pup works. That's frustrating. Oh, wow. This opponent's gone runner with just the perfect answers. Over and over and over here. Cathar Commando for scavengers, removal on exemplar, removal on loot, removal on another creature first, which is what made me think that maybe we could resolve our bombs. It's like, well, they've already spent 3 removal spells. They've banishing us, they've commandoed one of our rares. Nope, still 2 more. And the pup in response to removal. Is there anything in my deck I can hit off of Rallier? My win condition at this point is preposterous proportions. There are 2 Healer's Hawks and 1 Land Werewolf I could draw off of Squad Rallier. Healer's Hawks with Cat Collector on board would be kind of a big deal. So I think we are activating it still. Just attacking with 2 so that I'm holding up green and white mana here. If I draw a Healer's Hawk or a Land Werewolf, I can cast it immediately. ¿Por qué no los dos? Okay, Hawk is definitely better. So now we know there's a Land Werewolves in the bottom 4, and in the top 16, there's only 1 card we can hit off of Rallier, which is another Healer's Hawk. So it almost, again, feels better just not to use it, so that if we have a preposterous... My god, they've got another Helpful Hunter, too? Oh, that was a different opponent. This is their first Helpful Hunter. This is still beautiful synergy between their black and their white. I feel like we're playing kind of an Amalgus Mush pile. We've played against some Amalgus Mush piles. This is like a draft deck almost. It doesn't have like the black-white life gain synergies, but it's just like really efficient removal. It has ways to dig for its bomb Sky Knight Squire. And now we're going to get completely bodied by some kind of combat trick. They have 1 cat on board and no treasure tokens. No, they have 2 cats on board. This is the +2/+2 to everybody. God damn. Yeah, that's pretty awful. Okay, so that's a 3/4. Or sorry, that's a 3/3 I can block with a 3/4. That's a 4/4. 3/4 and a 1/1 there. That's a 5/3. Put a 3/2 there. Take 5, 6, 7, 8. That feels best. Uh-oh, what is this? Something else? Day of Judgment? Oh my god. When you think it can't get any worse? I mean, all in all, might have been moderately favorable. I think their board was a little better than ours. Can't have the Armastar guide running around. So here's the 1-for-1. Well, they outrace us with the Helpful Hunter and the Skeleton alone. I think. Go to 8, they go to 9. I go to 6, they go to 5. They have 2 food tokens. Yeah, but the 2 food tokens, they definitely outrace right now. So we have to draw significantly better than them to win from here. is not so. Ooh. They mill a card. Okay, this isn't lethal right now. This is 12 damage. Or sorry, this is 14 damage, but they have a food token, so they can survive with the food. I have to just attack and hope they have absolutely nothing, and then proportions attack next turn. That is literally my only line. Because proportions doesn't lethal them here. But it will if I swing now. It'll lethal them next turn. So we need them to have no buffs for this board. Need them to just hit for 5 and then have no removal, and then we kill them. The odds of that are immensely low. But not 0. What the... Our opponent, I have to stress this, our opponent played so tight. They played very, very well. Honestly, I think the only thing that could be considered like incorrect is like that Day of Judgment. I felt behind on board when they cast that by a little bit. Now they did cast it with like probably the Hunter and the Armasar guide left in hand, so they're like, well, opponent's gonna be empty-handed after this. I'm up 2 cards. It's really hard to lose from that point, but not impossible, as you saw there. So, I mean, the Day of Judgment was still probably reasonable, again, with these 2 creatures in hand and knowing your opponent doesn't really have creatures in hand. But that was the only thing that I think, like, outside of that, got a really nice deck. Played it really tight. We made some misplays. And just, oops, big squirrels. Big squirrels go smash. That's magic, baby. In a good way here. We are somehow 5-1 after an 0-1 start, and we're in the final boss here no matter what, and even if I lose this game, I get all of my gems back. For how sloppy the plays have been generally, I'm so happy to just be leaving with my initial pay-in, but my god, if we win a box off of this, that is insane. We'll see what happens here as we head into the final boss. Good start. We need to draw a land, but if we hit a land, Healer's Hawk into Cat Collector is great. And the duplicates means even like an early stab from our opponent is going to get there with the 2 copies. Black-white from our opponent, so probably some similar life-gaining nonsense, but we are just going in there. We've even got a Gold Vein pick to set up now. Healer's Hawk into Cat Collector already going wild. We have the Rebuke once they play a scary card, like a big angel of their own or something. Snap no blocks. No way I'm putting Cat Collector at risk with Healer's Hawks on board. Beastkin Ranger. That feels a little bit better than Gold Vein picking here. So if they have a Cathar Commander, they can flash it in and kill Cat Collector. But then they're tapped out for the turn, and I get to slam down a Beastkin Ranger. I feel like that's worth the tempo. Because if they don't have the creature to flash in, then this is infinitely better than not attacking with a 3-2. And if they do, it's not even like the worst thing in the universe. Alright. Took a calculated risk there. It did not pay off. They did have the flash creature. But I mean, look at the amount of pressure we have on them here. I feel like the Trampler's also pretty valuable here. Okay, there's the 3-4. It's gonna be pick on the trampler, sending the whole team, I believe. I mean, I can't cast anything but the pick here. So that does feel best. I guess I am letting them kill a cat to get one more damage in. Probably shouldn't have sent the cats in. That's a little aggressive. I should now that I have got Wardens of the Cycle off the treasure token. But I should not have last turn. Oh, they are still going for the race here. They got Day of Judgment again? That would actually be pretty nasty here. Now I've got Luminous Rebuke up for whatever this nonsense is. I've got 5 up on the attack. There's no Settle the Wreckage in this format, is there? Okay, just bake that into a pie. Everybody else gets in. Sure. Cool. Oh, I can't actually play Wardens here? That's a little sad. Seraph in the Sky is still a big deal, though. So I'll play that. They have no flyers, and they're at 7. As soon as they get one, we can rebuke it. Okay. Double food is a lot. There's the Hungry Ghoul. Sylvan Scavenging is also a lot. Alright, what are we on here? If I put a pick on a Healer's Hawk, I can definitely play a Warden's. If I put a pick on a cat and get a trade into the Ghoul, at worst. But if I get a trade into the Ghoul, I'm not going to get a Morbid trigger off the Wardens. Or I'm not going to be able to cast the Wardens. I think we're casting Wardens this turn. And since I'm casting Wardens, I'm going to send everybody in. And Wardens plus Goldvein pick on it would mean Sylvan Scavenging. Giving us Raccoons next turn, which is pretty huge. I guess I should move the pick. Well, could use 3 on Scavenging, 2 on Rebuke next turn, so I need to be able to get the treasure next turn. Yeah, I'm not going to use the pick. So I move the pick here, I have to spend 1 moving it back next turn. Oh my god! And I'm overthinking it anyway. Our opponent just doesn't have flyers, so we'll just Healer's Hawk in there. We just win 2 boxes of foundations like that? That's all it takes? You could just slop-fest misplay your way into boosters? This was so much easier than it was in Modern Horizons. Massive apologies to my opponents, and slight apologies to the viewers. I try to do the best, to play the best I can, but there were a lot of misplays today. And it doesn't matter, we just get some foundations boxes anyway. Cool. Alright. So I'm done? I don't have to play Arena Directs this weekend anymore? Cool. I don't even know what to say. I'm so dumbfounded that we won a box like that. We lost the first game, and then every single game, maybe not every single game, but almost every single game literally just felt like we were losing at the start, or at some point. Absolutely wild. I don't know what to say. What a video we have on our hands here. This is going to be just the reverse world weird video. Anybody watching is going to see the early game, see the immediate loss into a bunch of misplays in future rounds, and be like, all right, yeah, I'm moving on to the next video. This one's not a winner. Little did they know. Stick around. Magic is a game of luck and skill. As Newmont likes to say in these big sealed events like Arena Open Day 1, you have to open well, build well, play well, and draw well. And luckily, all of the luck-based RNG-focused stuff worked pretty well for us. The play well part and the build well part, I'm not super sure. I think this build is probably pretty close to the best build in the sealed pool. It's definitely one of the best builds I think we could have made here. It certainly carried us through a lot of misplays, so that was pretty nice. So maybe built well, drew well, opened well. Maybe we did all that, but I don't think we played well. I'm overstating the amount of misplays a little bit. I don't think there were any like just monumental, oh my god, I punted lethal misplays, at least that I noticed. But there were several smaller things adding up in a lot of those games that could have gone considerably better, which I'm always trying to keep an eye out on, especially in really competitive events like this. But yeah, wow. All right. I guess we're leaving this event with 2 play booster boxes of foundations for only 5,000 gems. That is essentially 2 booster boxes for $25. What an absolute banger. And if you wanted to see more competitive foundations, don't worry. Well, I am going to just stop while I'm ahead here because sealed is such a high variance format, and obviously I'm playing pretty bad today, so I kind of don't want to record more sealed today. There is an arena open for Magic the Gathering Foundations next weekend, and that I am going to do a lot of practice for and try to do my best on. These are kind of just more for fun, kind of competitive for me, but the arena opens is like, that's when you can actually get like $1,000. I have cashed out earlier this year with Outlaws of Thunder Junction, before that, a couple years ago with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, so fingers crossed, and I'll do my best there. So if you're looking for more Magic the Gathering Foundations competitive, sealed, and draft, look forward to that arena open next weekend, but that's probably gonna do it for me this time around for these arena directs, because I mean, if we just get the box right off the bat, that was kind of the goal accomplished. I'm not really gonna try to hoard a bunch of boxes having to play this like 10 times. I think I'd probably drain my sanity faster than I'd earn more boxes. So stop while we're ahead and get incredible prize out for just one event. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.